So today we're going to discuss the best practice for collecting a water sample for pre-harvest water. So water used for irrigation, for frost protection. Anytime before harvest that water may be coming in contact with the produce and you need to be collecting a water sample. So we have our collection bottle here. You can contact your local extension office, or the lab that is doing your testing for you may also be able to supply these for you. Now, you may notice when you get these bottles that sometimes there's a little tablet at the bottom, or a little white powder sometimes. So this is sodium thiosulfate. What it does is, if you're collecting a water sample that has chlorine in it, it reacts with the chlorine so that chemical doesn't continue to kill the microorganisms in the water. Now, obviously, we're not too worried about our pond here having chlorine in it, but just go ahead and leave the tablet in there, because if you reach in to try to pick out this tablet, you're going to end up transferring bacteria from your hands into the inside of the bottle. All right, so now we're going to describe how to collect that sample. A lot of times it's described as a representative water sample, and so there's some confusion on what that actually means. So we have our sludge nabber here that we're going to use to collect it, and we're standing by our intake for our irrigation system, which is ideally where you want to collect the water sample because it's closest to what's going to be irrigating the water. Now, you want to make sure when you open the top of the bottle that you're not going to touch the inside of it, because you don't want to contaminate that.
Once it's clicked in, you don't want to do it right at the edge because of the possibility of getting sediment, weeds, other things in there. But once you go out to the water, you also don't want to jab it all the way down, because the same thing, you could get weeds, lots of dirt. So we'll get as close and as safe as you can to the edge. Fill it up. Bring it back to our teammate who's wearing gloves. Thank you.
All right, so now we've closed the bottle. The last thing you want to make sure you do is label it. So that way when it gets to the lab, they know where it came from, what water source you collected it from. This is particularly important if you have several irrigation ponds or several sources of your water that you'll be sending multiple samples off to the lab for. So here we have our label, and so you want to make sure that you have the farm name or the grower or some identifier, the location that the sample was collected from, ideally the time of collection, and also your date that it was collected. So that way the lab has all the information they need after they process the sample. So once you've collected your water sample and you've labeled your bottle, make sure that you get it in a cooler on ice immediately and get it transported to your lab. Ideally, before you collect the water sample, you need to check with your local lab and make sure that they will be open and available to receive it and to get it processed in a timely manner.